Once again, I'm ready to shuffle the cards to choose the inspirational blend for the month of October. So as I shuffle the cards, I'm setting the intent that the right 3 cards will come up for what the inspirational blend for October 2022 should be. Okay, getting there. First one is Basil. Second card is Myrrh. And the third card, where's it coming from? Where's this one? Third card is Spikenard. Wow, that is definitely a base heavy blend with the myrrh and the spikenard. Wow, it's going to be interesting to see what we come up with. Basil, myrrh, and spikenard. Let's see what we can create with that.
My affirmation for Basil is mindfully breathing in Basil. I know I am secure and able to fully express myself. My affirmation for Myrrh is mindfully breathing in Myrrh. My inspiration expands while I remain grounded. And my affirmation for Spikenard is mindfully breathing in Spikenard. My heart opens with compassion. As we take a look at the odor profiles of these 3 oils, we see that basil belongs to the herbal and aniseed odor type. Those aromas reminiscent of aniseed, herbal, licorice-like types. Basil has a fresh, slightly spicy aroma. It has a high odor intensity. It is a top perfume note and blends well with oils like bergamot, citronella, clary sage, frankincense, geranium, lime, neroli, hyssop, and oak moss. But as you know, we're not restricted to just blending with those oils. Myrrh belongs to the resinous odor types, scent of tree resins and exudates, fresh, sweet, clean aromas. Myrrh itself has a bitter, spicy, incense-like aroma and is very long-lasting. It has a high odor intensity and is a base note. Oils that is recommended that it blends well with are frankincense, sandalwood, benzoin, cypress, juniper, mandarin, geranium, patchouli, mints, lavender, and pine. Finally, spikenard belongs to the earthy odor type, scent of damp soil, fresh but with a vegetation, fungal nuance, rich, damp, musty aromas. Spikenard itself is said to have an earthy, woody, warm, and slightly musty aroma. It has a medium odor intensity and is a base note. Considered to blend well with citrus and spice oils, lavender, patchouli, petitgrain, pine, and rose. So this month we'll have our work cut out for us because these 3 oils on the face of it haven't got any recommendations of blending well together. But I know we can make a good blend out of them, just with a little work and tweaking. So once again, we start by making notes of everything that we're going to do. And as always, if you want to use the chart I have, please download it. Otherwise, fill in the information in your own notes, your own special book, whatever it is that you use to keep notes on all your blends. As you can see, I've started by filling in Basil under the top notes with an intensity of 7, and Myrrh, it too has an intensity of 7, and Spikenard with an intensity of 5 under the base notes. So now we're ready to start combining our oils in a blend. I'm going to start with the base accord of Myrrh and Spikenard and see how we go with that. As I started playing around with my drops of Myrrh and Spikenard, I was reminded as to how difficult it can be to blend in drops with a thick oil like Myrrh. I had to stand my little bottle. I put a 5 ml bottle of Myrrh into a hot water bath, and it had to stand there for quite a long time before the essential oil was soft enough to put into drops. I very much prefer to blend with weights, but of course, when you're just making up a small amount of a blend, that isn't really worth doing, or it's tricky to do, let's put it that way. In any case, I finally got round to getting my drops on the smelling strips, and after I played with those back and forth, I have decided on 2 drops of Myrrh and 3 drops of Spikenard. So I'm going to leave that for a while to kind of sit together before I decide how much basil to add to that. So let's see what we come up with. So when I came back to the smelling strips of Myrrh and Spikenard, I decided I was going to stick with the 2 strips of Myrrh and the 3 strips of Spikenard and start to add these strips of basil. I started with first 1, I added a second, then I tried a third, and I thought, okay, let's push it, we'll try a 4th, but the 4th one felt too much. So for now, I'm sitting at 3 strips of basil with 2 strips of Myrrh and 3 strips of Spikenard. I'm going to go away and just leave that to marry for a while before I decide on whether that's going to be the ratio or whether it needs more adjustment. So when I came back to smell these smelling strips together, I decided that this was what I was going to keep. I know that I smell a little more of the basil than either the Myrrh or the Spikenard, but as the blend starts to evaporate, the basil softens and more of the nuances of the Myrrh and the Spikenard come out. So I'm going to stick with 3 drops of basil, 2 drops of Myrrh, and 3 drops of Spikenard. These are the drops I'm going to put into my little bottle, and that will be the blend that I'm going to use as I create the mini meditation. Of course, when you come to blend this, adjust the drops according to your own personal preference. It is such a personal thing, and you'll notice that when you look at the next slide with Robbie Zeck's blending factor, she has a different proportion for these 3 oils as well. So play around with it and have fun and see what you come up with. The inspirational blend for October of basil, myrrh, and spikenard has the affirmation, as I breathe in my blend, I become aware that I am both secure and grounded, which in turn allows me to trust that all is well.